Hey everyone, so today we're going to be talking about compositions of functions. This is a symbol you might see to represent this. It does not represent multiplication, it represents composition. This also can be written as f of g of x, okay? And g of f of x can be written this way. You might also hear them called Fogg and Goff as a casual way to represent this composition of functions. So we're going to be plugging a function into a function and possibly a numerical value into the inside function as well. You can expand this. There could be like 2 or 3 compositions, but typically we'll just deal with 2. So write that down and we're going to get started. Main idea here is if you have something written f of g of -2, you have your functions f and g. You're going to rewrite this as f of g of -2. You're going to take this inside portion and you're going to do this first. Okay, so g of -2, maybe do it on the side here. You're going to evaluate 2 times -2 squared minus 3. So that gives us 8 minus 3, which is 5. Okay, and you replace this with a 5. So now the question is, what is f of 5? Okay, you go to f of x, which is right here. F of 5, instead of x, you put a 5. So final answer is square root of 6. Sorry for the bell. And there you go. So f of g of -2 is square root of 6, final answer. Okay, let's try another one here. G of f of 8. So g of f, of 8. Okay, we're going to write it out like that. First, you're going to find that inside portion, which is f of 8. So f of 8, I'd bring it to the side of your paper. F of 8 would be, instead of square root of x plus 1, square root of 8 plus 1. So square root of 9, which is 3. So you replace it. F of 8, you're going to replace with a 3. So now we're wondering, what is g of 3? In g of 3, take this function, plug in a 3. 2 times 3 squared minus 3, which is 18 minus 3, which is 15. So final answer, 15. Okay, the other version you might see, a little bit different for part C and D, is you might just have x. Okay, this doesn't mean multiply by x. It's actually just these definitions, exactly the same. So this just means what's f of g of x. This one means what's g of f of x. Okay, and it basically means that you're going to be composing the functions, but you're not plugging in a numerical value. So for f of g of x, f is going to be that outer function, the structure. So the square root of, and just like when you were plugging in a number like 3 or 5, instead of x, you're going to plug in g of x, and then you have plus 1. So right here, this x, I'll use some highlighter here, this x is replaced with g of x, because instead of f of x, it says what's f of g of x. And you would replace g of x with the function, 2x squared minus 3. You still have that plus 1 from the original function here. Okay, 2x squared minus 3 plus 1 would be the square root of 2x squared minus 2. And that's your final answer. So if you start with an x in this part right here, and evaluating at x, you're going to end with something that has x's in it. If you start with a number, your final answer is going to be numerical. Okay, let's try one more. G of f of x. So now g is the outside structure, which is 2x squared minus 3. But instead of 2x squared minus 3, it's going to be 2f of x squared minus 3. Okay, so this was, again, you're replacing this x with f of x because that's the inside function. And if it said like g of 5 question mark, we would do 2 times 5 squared minus 3. So when it says g of f of x, it would be 2 times f of x squared minus 3. So 2, plug in f of x, square root of x plus 1, squared minus 3. A square root squared would just give you back x plus 1. And so our final answer here would be 2x plus 2 minus 3, which is 2x minus 1, final answer. Okay, so pause there. We're going to try a couple more examples below in class that are pretty similar. So for now, those are kind of your 4 examples to go off of. And I want to also show you the last thing we're going to do. If you turn to the next page, example 6 here, Okay, again, if I'm going too fast, pause, take a look at what's going on. We're going to try A and B together, and then you guys are going to try letter C. So looking at a table, we have a table of values f of x and a table of values g of x. It says signed f of g of 3. I always recommend rewriting f of g of 3. So inside g of 3, we can evaluate that. When x is 3, what is g of x? G of 3 is 1, so you replace it. And then we find what's f of 1. When x is 1, f of x is 5. Okay, let's try another one here. F of g of 15. So the first thing you would do, g of 15. When we go to g of x is 15, y would be 11, or g of x would be 11. And then you come back over here to your f of x table. When f of x is 11, when f of x, or x is 11, sorry about that, f of x would be 12. Okay, great. You are going to try part C here on your own, g of f of 11, and you're going to enter the answer on Edpuzzle. Thank you so much for watching. We'll continue working on this, and please let me know if you have any questions. Bye.